Hey there YouTube, this is the Rec84 here, and today I'm doing a kind of a response video to Dorian's latest video about space. As we all know, most of us, come back from a large Transformers convention, and I'm sure plenty of us have bought a lot of toys that we may not have space for, and when we all come home, we get home and everything kind of just stays in one space for maybe a week or so, and then we have to actually find somewhere to put everything. I've been quite fortunate, and this TF Nation I actually sold off a lot of my collection because I'm kind of still 50-50 on where I want my collection to go. I'm not 100% sure still what I want in my collection, but I managed to get rid of a lot of things that freed up a massive amount of space for me. So I was quite fortunate in that fact. So that meant I actually had a lot of space for all the things that I bought at TF Nation. As you will see just on here, all this is pretty much everything that I bought. Just a couple of things over there. Still loads of boxes everywhere, but you'd kind of expect that because I bought quite a lot of things that had boxes, so I need to keep all those. But just a couple of the boxes down there. My Nathan Drake statue. But it's I've been quite fortunate in that I have space, but a lot of people don't. Because a lot of people probably wouldn't think twice about buying something and then selling it. Most people are a bit smarter than that. A lot of people are a bit smarter than me with their buying. Is that when they buy things, they know before they buy it that they're not going to sell it back at some point, which is understandable. I mean, I think I do need to start doing that at some point. I need to start being more like smarter with my decisions in buying toys. But coming back from TF Nation and putting everything in its place, like putting everything in some kind of order, like I've got all my Nemesis Primes in one place, and I've got kind of that the Platinum set with like my Wheeljack or whatever. It's like it kind of all goes with each other to some degree. But I know at some point I won't have enough space for everything. I know that space is very what's the word? Space is a thing that we need to be wary of before our figures and our toy collecting habits kind of breach into our real lives. Because I think once that happens, it's like your toy collecting isn't a personal kind of thing to you anymore. It becomes a thing to your family or just whoever you're with. It's like it becomes less of a personal thing directly to you. It becomes part of your everyday life, and that's when it becomes less special, in my opinion. Like, sure, you can share a lot of your habits with whoever you're with, girlfriend, wife, just your family in general, but there comes a point where you need some of it for yourself. It's like you need your own personal space with all your Transformers toys and whatever you're into collecting. It doesn't have to be Transformers toys. Could be Transformers, could be Marvel Legends figures, it could be retro video games. There needs to be a point where you can have a little bit to yourself. It can't just be everywhere. You need like maybe just a room, if you can, that's just yours, that's got everything in it that you want. It's like, after TF Nation, it just makes you think about at what point does your collecting habit go into your personal life? Go out of your personal life and into your everyday life? At what point do you stop? At what point do you stop your collection at one point, maybe sell off a couple of things that you're not as interested in anymore, and then build up on the rest of your collection. At what points do you do that? There's not a definitive answer to that. It's personal to everyone. For me, my collecting of my previous kind of how I wanted it, my setup, I previously wanted all the Transformers Prime figures because I was quite a big fan of Transformers Prime. That kind of stopped, and then I went more into Masterpiece and third party figures, and I realised they were too expensive, and that stopped a little bit. And then I kind of was just collecting a little bit of everything, and then that had to stop at some point. I don't know why. It's one of those times when you have to decide what you want in your collection anymore, and that can be a hard thing to do, because obviously you need space for whatever collection you are trying to build, but then that means possibly getting rid of some of the figures that you love beside your collection. Like, at the moment I've decided I'm going to try and build my Nemesis Prime collection, because I'm a massive fan of that character. I just love that character and the designs of a lot of the figures. I know they're just repaints of Optimus, but they make them look so good. It's so irresistible. But there will be, at some point, I imagine, that I will sell my Masterpiece Wheeljack, or sell that Heroes Platinum Edition set to make space or make money so that I can buy more things for my Nemesis Prime collection. So there will be a time where I imagine I will sell them, but right now I'd rather not, mainly because I love that set so much. That's the whole thing of space. You need enough space to house all the things that you want, but then you need to limit that space to your own personal life rather than letting it out in the real world. So if you let it out in the real world, as I said before, it becomes less specific to you. It becomes like a shared hobby between everyone, and that can sometimes be a good thing, you know. With conventions like TF Nation, that there are times in there when you can just talk with people and share your love of Transformers with them, but you still need to retain that little bit of personalness to you. You need to hold a little bit back for yourself, you know. But yeah, space is a really important thing that people need to be wary of. I'm starting to get wary of it, and I'm hoping that one day I will have the collection that I want, and I will have enough space for all the figures that I want. Like, I'm not trying to limit myself just to Nemesis Primes, you know. I want to build more collections, but I just don't have the space at the moment. I have hardly any space for anything these days. But I do hope to one day have the space to really make this toy collecting habit of mine just everything that I've been dreaming about. You know, I've always been having dreams of just having a massive just room, or you know, a man cave of all my Transformers and all my, you know, just my 6-inch DC or Marvel figures, you know, room for my games, you know. It's like, we all have those kinds of dreams where we want just a big, like maybe even a big house just full of Transformers. We all have those kinds of dreams, and I know for a lot of people that won't come true, but you still have them. You still have those dreams, and I do hope one day that I do have some kind of respectable collection, you know, because at the moment I don't really. Yes, that's the point of this video. Collections and space are a very important thing, and should be a very prominent thing in everyone's minds. Everyone should be cautious of what they're buying and what they're collecting and how much space that's taking up of their life. I do hope to get back to reviews soon. Currently I'm working on a video, something that I will talk about at some point. It's like a collaboration of sorts. To more on that soon. I'll probably review Masterpiece Wheeljack in the next week or two. Saying that, it'll probably be a month's time. I'm not very good at scheduling either. So, thank you for watching and take care.